Hello and welcome. My name is Rebecca Thompson Hitt. I am the founder and executive director of the Consciously Parenting Project. I am a holistic family therapist, and I have been working with families for almost 30 years, which I don't really understand how that's possible because I'm like not that old. But anyway, here we are. And I think I'm gonna spotlight myself. There. Okay, I make myself big. Not that I like looking at myself like this, but I think it's a little less distracting on the video later also. And it puts the spotlight off of you. So we are here as a welcome to our village fireside space. And this space is about one, welcome, about creating connection, about safety in our bodies. And that connection is with ourselves. And from there, we can connect with others. And we each need to decide what feels safe for us in this moment today, in our bodies. I'm going to be inviting you to do things. I want you to pay attention to how it feels in your body. And if you have a no to something, don't do it. And that's it seems like such a basic thing, but most of us are so programmed. If somebody tells us to do something, that we need to do it. And that may include things that aren't really best for us and for our body. And then we also want to understand it. We want to analyze it and figure out why, or we want to push ourselves through. And that's also not in our best interest to do that, especially with this kind of work. So we have the Consciously Connected Village, which has been running now for a little over a year. We've been doing our SOAR school, which is all about connecting with the body and ourselves. And this is a way that we can invite more people to come in. So if this touches you, if this is helpful for you, please invite a friend. Please invite someone else. And we are going to be eventually charging $12 a month for this. Right now, we want people to come, just come. And even when we do open it and make it the $12 a month, we still will let people come in and try it and see if it feels like the right thing for them. So I just want to get that out of the way. There is no big thing that we're doing to try to get you to join. It's like that's it. I just want to be completely transparent. So, this is an opportunity to nurture yourself, to connect with yourself, to maybe to discover some new ways to connect more deeply with yourself, with your loved ones, and to develop some skills and some tools that you can take into your life with your loved ones. And I'm going to be doing some exercises with us as the adults. And there are things that I'm going to suggest that you can do to modify them for children. And some of them I may just do and I may say, and you can do this just like it is for kids. Whether you are a parent and you are parenting young children, whether your kids are older, these things are just as important, if not important, for older kids, young adults. I'm going to really work on getting some of the young adults that I have contact with in here because these skills are essential. And this is really about resilience. One of the things that I have learned in living in Mexico for the past 5 years is that life can be really hard and we can still be resilient. But resilience doesn't come from just pushing ourselves onwards. As I've watched the Mexicans, they slow down, they connect with each other, they establish their safety. They have a big party. They do that a lot. That's like one of their big ways of coping. And we can do this. We can do this in our lives now. We don't have to have a big party. We don't have to have a big group of people to do it. These are skills that we can use in our own lives. So I want to invite you just to begin by looking where you are right now. Like just really look around at where you are in physical time, physical space right now. And the things I'm going to be teaching you are from something called somatic embodiment. And if you are in the source school, you may be familiar with some of these, but you may hear them in a different way today. So begin by just taking a breath. And just look at where you are right now. Look up. We never look up unless there's something flying on the ceiling. But look up. Notice what happens. Notice if you see something on the ceiling, a shape or something that you didn't see before. Just notice. And then take a breath. And then maybe bring your attention down and look at the floor. And you can move your head to the right. And I want to invite you to turn around and literally look behind you. Just make sure there's nothing back there. And breathe. And then come back to the front. And then turn to the left and look behind you that way. Just make sure there's nothing there. We're establishing safety in our physical space right now. And then the next thing is, where's your exit? And so for me, my exit is right here. If I needed to get out, that's how I would get out. And then breathe. Just take that in. You have choice. And you can even find the little end button on the Zoom. You have choice there too. And if you have a window that you can look out of, or if you can see outside in some way, I invite you just to shift your gaze. And if not, I want to invite you to just look farther away, not at the screen, but farther away. And there's a lot of things that we're doing with our eyes right now. And eyes are really, really important in our world of safety. And I'm just beginning in the last 6 months or so to understand how important our eyes are. And I had a big aha that I shared with my community about how when we're on our phones, our eyes are fixed in one location and we're not even really crossing the midline much. And part of that fixation in one spot is about if we have a dangerous thing in front of us, we need to fixate our eyes in one spot to keep ourselves safe. So when we're moving our eyes, when we're looking down, when we're looking up, when we're looking behind us, we're telling our eyes and our nervous system that we're safe. We're safe enough right now in this moment. Okay, that starts to open things up all by itself. And so I want you to just check in with yourself. What do you notice after you've just been moving your eyes? And we're crossing the midline. That's also really important. And I have an exercise that I do when I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm in a panic about something. I do this thing with my eyes, and I want to walk you through it, and I want you to just notice how it feels. Now, with kids, I wouldn't do it in this way. With kids, I would say, ooh, let's see what's over here. Let's look over here, kids. Are there any flowers on the ground? Do you see the snow? What do you see? And we're bringing our attention to the right. And then I would do the same to the left. And like we're all inside right now, so this is a great thing to do outside. But if you're inside, and even if you don't want to get out of bed, because this is when I do it the most, if you want to close your eyes, just check in and see if that feels okay. And if it doesn't, you can leave your eyes open, perfectly fine. And just take a breath. And then I want you to let your eyes move to the right. And if you were looking at a clock, it would be 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. And just take a nice breath here. And what I've started saying, which I think is really helpful for me, so you can play with it, see how it feels for you. It's safe enough for me to look to the right. Whatever else is going on, what other things you might be panicked about or struggling with or trying to figure out, right now, it's safe enough for me to look to the right. And then when your eyes have had enough, let your eyes drift back to the center. Do not force it. Don't make your eyes stay there, and breathe. So coming back to center if you haven't already, and just take a moment and just integrate that motion. And then letting your eyes move to the left And I'm not moving my head. I just want to move my eyes. We're stretching the eyes and we're saying to our body, to our nervous system, it's safe enough for me to look to the left. And so about 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock, and just breathe. Just breathe here. I notice for me, and maybe you notice it for you, it's much easier most of the time for me to go to the right than it is to the left. And breathe. And then when you're done, let your eyes drift back to the center and let your eyes and your body and your nervous system settle back down from the movement. And then bring your attention right behind your eyes. So you're not twisting your eyes back to try to see behind you. You're just bringing your awareness behind your eyes and breathe. It's safe enough for me to move my awareness behind my eyes and breathe. And then bringing your awareness behind your head. So again, we're not twisting your eyes around. Just breathe, bringing your awareness behind your head. It's safe enough for me to bring my awareness behind my head. Whatever else is going on, it's safe enough. And breathe. And then bring your eyes forward again. And you can just leave your eyes closed for a moment and breathe. And let yourself integrate all of that movement because we're communicating to your body and your nervous system that it's safe enough right now. You don't have to hyperfixate your gaze. It's something that I've been trying to do when I get off of my phone because, we're all using phones, or most of us are using phones. If I'm doing something on my phone for even a few minutes, I try to remember to do that. And even if it's just really quick, it's safe enough for me to move my attention somewhere else. I'm safe enough. And then as you take a breath, I want you to open your eyes and I want you to move your attention somewhere far away. Again, if you can look out a window, that's great. If that doesn't feel right, or if you don't have a window, just look farther away. And then this part is actually really fun to do with kids. So you can pretend that you are following a butterfly, or maybe there's something else that you would enjoy following. But butterflies are there's something really soothing about watching a butterfly move, and you don't really know quite what they're going to do. It's not predictable. And move your eyes as if you're following a butterfly that's flying up and over. And where else does your butterfly want to go? Maybe back to the center and then off to the left. This is where my butterfly is going. Yours might go somewhere else, and that's fine. Letting your eyes move. And again, you are telling your nervous system that it's safe enough. It's safe enough right now in this moment. And then when you're ready, if it feels right to you, you can come back to the screen or whatever you need to do for yourself right now and just breathe and check in with your body and just notice what that did all by itself. Notice how you're feeling. Notice if there's a shift in your breathing. Notice if there's a shift in the way your muscles are feeling. Notice, notice if you feel just a little bit more connected to your body. Just notice. Yeah. So I'm going to give you a couple of more things that you can play with. And I really want to invite you this week to play with these things. Play with them. See if you can remember. Set an alarm to try to remember. If you can do it when you're somewhat, you're not a total mess, great. But they're really helpful when you're really struggling, when you're really having a hard time. Um, yeah. So one of the other things that I want to invite you to do, and videos are off. Um, is to see if you can take up a little bit of space. So maybe moving your hands out and just noticing, is there a point that you're like, too far? Then bring them back. Just notice. Just notice. And I'm going to put my hands up over my head. If that feels right to you, you can put them up over your head. It's safe enough to take up space. It's safe enough to take up space. And then if it feels right, you can move your hands in a different direction, a different plane. So I'm going to move mine in this plane. Maybe you want to have one hand up and one hand down. And maybe you want to do a little windmill. So just noticing what that feels like as you take up some space. And if that's not feeling right to you and it feels right for you to curl up into a little ball, then do that. And that might be what I invite you to try next and see how that feels. So I'm going to extend my arms because that feels right to me. And then I'm going to move my arms and invite you to do this. And I'm actually bringing my legs up too. And I'm just going to give myself a hug. And if that feels right to you, you can try that. Any variation of that is great. And just breathe. And notice, do you need to bring your head down? Do you need it to feel a little bit tighter, a little bit smaller? Or do you feel like you need to give yourself a little bit more space? There's no right or wrong. It's just noticing. But for me, oh, the hug felt really good. And holding my legs and curling into a little ball. And then as it feels right for you, maybe just slowly releasing. But there's no hurry. Take your time. And then notice how it feels to move your arms out again. Just notice. I have this impulse to just like move. Just I can take up some space. I can take up space and you can too in this moment. One of the things that I've been really paying attention to lately that can really help to connect with your own sense of safety is by noticing someone else in your environment. So this morning I went for a walk and it's a nice day. I'm in Florida right now and it's beautiful. So I'm sorry if you're snowed in and it's cold, but there was a woman walking her dog and and she had the most fun pants. They were like a pink tie-dye with kind of bell bottoms, and they looked so fun. And I saw them from way far away, and I purposefully went that way. There's a part of me that's really introverted and would totally avoid every person if I could. I mean, really, seriously. Like, I don't want to hang out with strangers. I love my community. I want to be with those people, but I don't want to talk to random people. Um, so I normally would go the other way, but I'm really focusing on can I do something for myself that helps me to feel a little bit safer in the world? And so I went that way anyway. And I looked the woman in the eye and I complimented her pants. And I watched her face light up. And there was something about that that just said, okay, I'm safe in this moment. I'm safe enough. And so you can play with that. Just compliment someone. Notice what happens when you compliment someone. the person who helps you with your groceries, the person who gets you a coffee, the person who is walking by you on the street who, has a headband on that's a fun color or whatever it is. But noticing those things helps us to recognize our safety, helps us to recognize if we're feeling safe enough. And that helps our whole body. There's a whole cascade of hormones and neurochemicals that go through our bodies when we feel safe. And so the other thing that I just want to say is that neuroception of safety isn't necessarily about, um, is it, I look around and it's safe, whatever, it's fine. It's our body's felt sense of safety. And our body's felt sense of safety may have nothing to do with what we can see right now. There could be something we could smell. There could be something that we're sensing. There could be something else that's happening that it has us feeling unsettled. And I remember learning about this stuff a long time ago when I was really, really having a hard time. And they kept saying, well, look around the room, see what's there. And it's like, okay, there's nothing here that's scary, but my body is still on fire. I don't feel safe, and I don't know why I don't feel safe, but it's not working. So when we can orient to safety, when we can orient just with our eyes, that helps us to get out of those places where we might be stuck. And we all need tools right now. We all need ways. And just moving your eyes is a great one for today. Hugging yourself, moving a little bit. The last one that I want to do with you today is I want to invite you to make a little bit of noise. You're all muted, so we can't hear you. But make a sound. And maybe it is a little goofy sound, but it's safe enough for you to make some noise. So maybe it's just a or or maybe you feel a little bit more creative and you want to make a different sound. Ah. Oh. Ooh. And just feel the vibration in your body. So, one last thing I'm going to end on, and that's I want you to take your hands and put them on your face if that feels okay to you. You have a vagus nerve that runs through your face and through every major part of your body. And this is also part of our felt sense of safety. And I want you just to feel yourself as the precious person that you are. And breathe that in. And maybe it feels good to move your hands on your face. And maybe it doesn't. Maybe you just want to leave them there. So listen to yourself. And we're activating that vagus nerve. And if you want to touch your ears, there's a whole bunch of nerves in your ears that are connected to your vagus nerve. Just the largest nerve in your body. It means the wandering nerve. And you're activating that just by pulling on your ears. So just notice if there's a spot that feels really good on your ears. So I'm just pulling on the very bottom of mine because that's where I can reach with my headphones, but maybe there's a different spot that would feel good for you. Yeah. Hmm. Well, I don't know about you, but I feel pretty good right now. That was really, it's like these are tools that we can use. They don't require anything other than just a little bit of remembering that we can do them. We just need our eyes, move your eyes, use your hands, move, open up your space, assess your safety. Look where you are right now, find your exit. These aren't difficult things, but they can make a huge difference in how you feel. Follow the butterfly with your eyes. Notice which one of these exercises is maybe you choose one that you really want to play with this week. I mean, if I had to recommend one, I would say the I one, but maybe there's another one. Maybe you want to just like give yourself hugs because that felt so good. Oh, look, Zoom has decided that that is a very good thing. Thanks, Zoom. Thanks. So I want to tell you about next week. We are going to have my dear friend and colleague, Susan Strummel. She is an art therapist, and she is going to be doing some art therapy with us next week. Um, I'm going to put this recording on YouTube. So if you want to come back to it, you want to watch it again, if you have a friend that you think would enjoy this or would find this helpful, please share it. We're going to be doing this every week in February. At the end of February, Jen is going to be doing yeah, Jen, do you want to tell us real quick about what you're doing? Because I think this is a great thing.
Hi everyone. So yeah, I think it's the last week of February and the first week of March.
Okay.
I have a an hour-long workshop that I'm splitting into two parts for these half-hour calls. And the whole workshop is a process for moving from feeling like stuck, overwhelmed, paralyzed in through connecting with yourself and your own body, connecting with the community feeling, and then connecting with your most deeply held values so that you have something you can orient to when you're deciding like what kinds of actions do I want to take, what feels meaningful to me with my limited time and energy. So the first week, the first half of that is the somatic part, connecting with yourself, your body, your feelings, the community. And then the second half of that is the more cognitive process of looking at values and intention setting and sort of laying that foundation that you can then use as a thing to orient to. So.
Awesome. Thank you, Jen. All right. Well, we are at a half an hour. I want to respect everybody's time. I'm going to put on a song and I'm going to stop recording. I'm going to put on the song. It's called Wider Circles. It's by Rising Appalachia. I think it's all about just we're moving in wider circles. We need to really work against the isolation that's happening for many, many of us right now. And we need to remember that we are connected. We need to remember that we are part of a bigger world and a bigger movement, and that there are kind people everywhere and we can find them and orient to them. And that is part of resilience. And so I'm going to stop recording and I'm going to play that. If you want to stay and listen, you can. If you want to pull it up on Spotify or your favorite listening app, you can do that as well. And we will see you next week. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you found this helpful. Give me feedback. Let me know what was helpful for you. Thanks.